Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast. You know, AI is super hot right now, and for good reason.
Absolutely. This sector is on fire.
It's projected to explode from like $200 billion to $1 trillion in just the next few years.
Yeah, that's insane growth.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to figure out how to ride that wave.
Right. Which companies are going to be the winners?
Exactly. Today we're looking at Multisensor AI Holdings, ticker symbol MSAI, to see if it has what it takes.
So as of January 6th, 2025, MSAI closed at $2 a share.
$2.
But over the past year, this stock has been on a wild ride,
Oh, yeah?
swinging between a low of $1.40 and a high of $5.
Wow, so that's some serious volatility.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that volatility is probably coming from a mix of things. On the one hand, you have MSAI focusing on AI-driven predictive maintenance.
Right, which is huge. That's a sector with enormous growth potential.
Absolutely. But there are some red flags in their financials.
Like their cash burn rate?
Exactly, their cash burn rate.
Yeah, let's get into those numbers. MSA reported around $7.62 million in revenue over the past year.
Which is actually a decrease from the previous year.
Yeah, not great. And their cash burn, a whopping $17 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money going out the door.
So let's put that into context. As of September 2024, they only had about $8.6 million in cash on hand.
Yeah, so at that rate, they've got maybe 6 months left.
6 months.
Before they run out of money, yeah.
So we've got this exciting, high-growth sector, but a company that's spending way more than they're making. What's going on there?
Well, things got really interesting on January 6th. MSAI announced a major leadership change.
Oh, really?
They appointed a new chief commercial officer, Peter Baird, and promoted Robert Nadolny to chief financial officer.
Interesting. So it seems like they're aware that they need to change direction.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way.
And the market seems to agree because after that announcement, MSAI's stock shot up almost 40% after hours.
Yeah, it hit $2.80.
So investors are optimistic about the new leadership.
It seems that way, but I think we need to be cautious here. That stock jump is based on potential, not proven results.
Right. And all this makes their upcoming earnings report even more important.
Absolutely. That's coming out on February 26th, 2025.
That's going to be a nail-biter for sure. We'll get a much better picture of whether this new leadership team is making any progress.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see if they can turn things around.
Okay, so we have this company, MSAI. They're in a hot sector, but they're burning through cash, and they have new leadership. What are your initial thoughts? What jumps out at you?
Honestly, for me, it's the cash burn issue. They need to get a handle on that if they want to survive long enough to see the benefits of this booming sector.
Totally. How about you? What are you most focused on with MSAI?
I think the leadership shakeup is the most fascinating part. If we look into these new executives' backgrounds, we might get some clues about their strategy, like what experience do they bring? What are their track records like?
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's start with Peter Baird, the new CCO. He's got a really impressive resume, over 20 years of experience in sales and marketing for tech companies, and a proven track record of driving growth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was previously at Census Technologies, and he played a key role in increasing their revenue by over 50% in just 2 years.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And then Robert Nadolny, the new CFO, he actually comes from within MSAI. He's been with the company for 5 years as the VP of Finance.
Oh, so he knows their financial situation really well.
Yeah, inside and out. So you've got an outsider who knows how to grow revenue and an insider who understands the company's finances.
That's a pretty interesting combo.
Yeah, it seems like a balanced approach to addressing their challenges, don't you think?
I do. It does seem promising. But we need to see if it actually works. We need to see those financial results.
Agreed. Potential is great, but it's all about execution now. Let's shift gears a bit. If someone's listening and thinking, okay, AI is hot, but MSAI seems a bit risky, are there other companies that they should be looking at?
Oh, absolutely. There are several companies with more established track records in the AI space, like Supermicrocomputer, ticker symbol SMCI. They're a big player in high-performance computing, and they've been making some really big moves into the AI infrastructure market.
Interesting. Anyone else?
Yeah. Also, Palantir Technologies, ticker symbol PLTR. They're known for their data analytics and have a really strong presence in government and defense.
So these are companies that are a little bit more of a sure thing.
Yeah, potentially less volatile.
So it sounds like MSAI is in a promising space, but they have some risks. They have this new leadership team that could be the key.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. February 26th is the big day.
Yeah, that earnings report. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind everyone that we're just sharing information here, not giving financial advice.
Right, investing always has risks.
Always do your research and talk to a financial advisor before making any decisions.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up this part of our look at MSAI, are there any other details or insights about MSAI or AI in general that we should be talking about?
You know, we've talked about MSAI's focus on AI-driven predictive maintenance, but I think it's important for people to really understand what that means, how it fits into the bigger AI picture.
Yeah, could you break that down for our listeners who might not be familiar with that specific area?
Sure. So basically, predictive maintenance uses AI algorithms to analyze data from sensors and other sources to try to predict when equipment is likely to fail. This allows companies to be proactive about maintenance, and that can minimize downtime and costly repairs.
That's really cool. So instead of waiting for a machine to break down and cause all sorts of problems, they can see it coming.
Right. Exactly.
And that's got to be super valuable for businesses,
Yeah.
especially ones with complex machinery.
It's huge, and that's why this sector is getting so much attention. It could really change the game for a lot of industries. Manufacturing, energy, transportation, healthcare, you name it.
So we've established that AI-driven predictive maintenance is a big deal. Where does MSAI fit into all of this?
Well, they're developing software and hardware solutions that use AI to monitor the health of industrial equipment. They're focusing on specific niches within different industries, tailoring their solutions to meet specific needs.
So they're not just trying to create some one-size-fits-all solution.
Right. They're going deeper, specializing. They want to be the experts in certain areas.
So, for example, they've got a specialized solution for wind turbine monitoring, another for oil and gas pipeline inspection.
Exactly. They're leveraging their expertise to try to develop targeted solutions for very specific applications.
That makes a lot of sense. Become the expert and solve those specific needs.
It's a good approach. And for investors, I think one of the key things to watch is how well they're identifying those opportunities. And are they developing solutions that actually solve real problems for their target customers?
Really good points. This is all incredibly fascinating, but I know our listeners are eager to hear more about what this all means for their portfolios. We'll dig into that in the next part of the podcast. But before we go, make sure you subscribe to the Investing Talk podcast, share this episode with anyone who might be interested, and leave a comment. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, we'll be back soon to talk more about MSAI and what their future might hold.
Welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast. We're still talking about Multisensor AI Holdings, ticker symbol MSAI, and trying to figure out if this company could be a winner in the AI space.
Right. We've talked about their stock, their financials, their leadership, the whole shebang.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. But let's look at this from an investor's point of view. What are the key factors you focus on when you're evaluating a potential investment, especially in a fast-moving sector like AI? Well, first and foremost, for me, it's the technology. Is it actually innovative?
Right. Does it solve real problems? Who are the customers? What makes their tech different or better than the competition?
Okay, so for MSAI, they're all about AI-powered predictive maintenance solutions. We talked about that a bit in the last part, but can you go deeper? What makes them stand out? What's special about their approach?
Yeah, so MSAI combines advanced sensors with their own AI algorithms.
Okay.
And this gives them real-time insights into how industrial equipment is performing. And I think the key here is they're not just collecting tons of data. They're analyzing it in a way that lets them predict potential failures.
Gotcha. So they're using AI to figure out when a machine is going to break down before it actually happens.
Exactly. And they're not just trying to apply a generic solution to every problem.
Like they're going deep into specific industries, right?
Exactly. They're tailoring their algorithms and their sensors to each sector. So like their solution for a wind turbine is going to be different from their solution for an oil pipeline.
It's all about specialization.
Exactly.
Okay, so they have what seems like a pretty interesting technology, and they're applying it in a smart way.
Yeah.
But as an investor, I also care about the market opportunity. How big is the pie? Are they going after a big enough market?
Absolutely. And for MSAI, the market for predictive maintenance is huge. It's expected to grow exponentially in the coming years.
Okay, so we've got a company with what seems like game-changing technology.
Yeah, potentially.
And a rapidly expanding market. That's a pretty good combo,
On
right?
paper, it looks fantastic, but there's always a but.
There's always a but.
We have to look at their financials. And as we talked about before, their cash burn is a big concern. But it's not just about cash burn. We also need to look at revenue growth. gross margins, their debt levels, all that good stuff.
So you want to make sure they can actually make money and that their business is sustainable.
Exactly. And as we discussed in part one, that's where things get a little tricky for MSAI. Their revenue actually went down last year, and they're burning through cash.
Right, right. But they have this new leadership team that seems pretty promising.
Right, and that brings us to another crucial factor for me, the management team.
Right. Because even with the best technology and a huge market, if you don't have the right people at the helm,
It's not going to work.
yeah, it's not going to work. So we need to ask, are they experienced? Do they have a track record of success?
Yeah, can they actually lead this company to where it needs to go?
And for MSAI, their new CCO, Peter Baird, he comes in with a great reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's known for driving growth at tech companies. And then you have Robert Nadolny, the new CFO. He's been with the company for years, so he knows the financials like the back of his hand.
That's an interesting mix.
Yeah, it seems like they could be onto something with this leadership change. But the big question is, will it be enough to get them on the right track?
It's tough to say. It's definitely a wait-and-see situation. They've got the potential, but they need to prove they can execute.
So MSAI, they've got the market, they've got the technology, and maybe they have the team. But there are still a lot of unknowns.
It's a classic high-risk, high-reward situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening who's intrigued by MSAI or just AI in general, where should they go to learn more? How should they start their research?
I always recommend starting with the company's filings with the SEC. You know, their 10K annual report, their 10Q quarterly reports. Those documents go into a lot of detail about the business, their financials, the risks.
So don't just rely on the headlines or the hype. Dig deeper, do your homework.
Exactly. But don't stop there. Look at industry reports, read analyst opinions, see what people are saying about the company and its competitors. The more you know about the landscape, the better decisions you can make.
That's great advice. And I would add, talk to other investors, talk to financial professionals, get different perspectives.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The more information and insights you can gather, the better.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about MSAI's potential, but we need to be real here. Investing in any company is risky. There are no guarantees. Even the most promising companies can run into trouble.
That's so true.
So for our listeners who are thinking, hey, MSAI sounds interesting, but I'm not sure I'm ready to buy their stock.
Yeah.
What are some other ways to get exposure to the AI sector?
There are definitely other options. You could look into exchange-traded funds or ETFs that focus on AI and technology.
Okay.
Those funds invest in a basket of companies, so you're not betting on just one stock. It's a way to diversify.
So it's a good way to participate in the AI boom without putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And another strategy is to invest in bigger, more established tech companies that are already using AI. Companies like Alphabet, ticker symbol GOOGL, or Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT, they're already leaders in areas like search, cloud computing, software development, and they're all using AI.
So these are companies that have a track record. They've already proven themselves.
Right. They're not necessarily as risky as a smaller, newer company like MSAI.
So you've got options. You can go for the high-risk, high-reward play with a company like MSAI, or you can go for a more stable, diversified approach.
Exactly. It depends on your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
I think that's a great overview. We've talked about different ways to invest in AI, and we've really dug into MSAI.
We've covered a lot.
But we're not done yet. In the next part, we're going to talk more about their technology, their competition, and what the future might hold for this company.
We'll be right back, so stick around.
Welcome back to the Investing Talk podcast for the final part of our conversation about Multisensor AI Holdings, ticker symbol MSAI. We've talked about their financials, the leadership changes, and the exciting world of AI-driven predictive maintenance. But before we wrap up, I think we need to talk about their competition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to know who MSAI is up against.
Right, who are they competing with?
Well, one of the big names in predictive maintenance is General Electric, ticker symbol GE.
GE. Wow, they're huge.
Yeah, they've been using their industrial expertise and their data analytics capabilities to develop really sophisticated predictive maintenance solutions for years.
So they've got a big head start.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's GE. Anyone else?
Another big player is Siemens, ticker symbol SIE. They're a global powerhouse in industrial automation and digitalization, and they've been investing heavily in AI and predictive maintenance technologies.
So we've got GE and Siemens. Two giants in the industry.
Exactly.
Seems like MSAI has a tough road ahead.
It's definitely a competitive landscape.
Are there any other competitors we should be aware of?
There are also a number of smaller, more specialized companies like C3 AI, ticker symbol AI. They're a leading AI software provider, and they offer predictive maintenance as part of their platform.
C3 AI, they're getting a lot of buzz.
They are, and their platform approach is pretty interesting. They could have an advantage in attracting customers who want more integrated solutions.
So how does MSAI plan to compete with all of these companies?
Well, that's where their targeted approach comes in. Remember, they're focusing on specific niches within different industries, like those specialized solutions for wind turbines and oil pipelines.
Right. So they're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're going deep in certain areas.
Exactly. And by becoming experts in those niches, they can develop really tailored solutions that allows them to compete even against the bigger players.
So it's a way for them to level the playing field a bit.
Exactly.
But I imagine there are challenges with that approach too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Focusing on niches can limit their overall market reach. And they need to be really careful about choosing the right niches. They need to pick areas that have a lot of growth potential.
So there's a balance there. They need to be specialized, but they also need to make sure they're in the right markets.
Exactly. And that's something that investors should pay close attention to. Is MSAI picking the right areas to focus on? Are their solutions truly differentiated? Is there demand for what they're offering?
These are really important questions. It seems like MSAI's success depends on their ability to navigate this competitive landscape. Any final thoughts for investors who might be thinking about MSAI?
I'd say MSAI is a company with a great story. They're in a really exciting market, but they're facing some stiff competition. Their financials are a concern, but the new leadership team could make a difference.
So high risk, high reward.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Investors really need to weigh the potential upside with the risks.
Absolutely. This whole space, AI-driven predictive maintenance, it's changing so fast.
Yeah, it's dynamic.
Companies like MSAI, they could be big disruptors.
But it's still early days.
It is. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Well, we've explored MSAI from every angle. We've talked about their strengths, their weaknesses, and their potential.
Yeah, hopefully this has given our listeners a good overview.
Exactly. And now it's up to you to decide. Do you believe in MSAI? Are you willing to take the risk? Only time will tell how it all plays out, but we hope our conversation has given you the insights you need to make informed investment decisions.
And remember, always do your own research. Think about your investment goals and talk to a financial advisor if you need to.
Absolutely. And don't forget to subscribe to the Investing Talk podcast, share this episode with your friends, and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you.
Thanks for listening and happy investing.